Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Good morning. Good morning. It's 19th of November 2025 and the futures are slightly higher this morning. Of course, there is anticipation that NVDA is going to save the day. NVIDIA has got to meet all the expectations with regard to earnings, and it has also got to give an outlook that encourages the market. So that's a tall order, given the current economic situation and the overall speculation around the lifetime of a GPU, that a GPU loses 90% of its value within 2.5 years. If that is the case and refresh cycle is every 2.5 to 3 years, then the question becomes, is it affordable to keep on spending billions of dollars every 3 years to refresh the cycle? Now, that would mean that on one end, the data center guys and hyperscalers, those guys would be having a difficult economic case. And on the other hand, if they do not buy frequently enough, how can NVIDIA continue to innovate and bring faster and better chips? Now, this is where the tariff and restrictions and all those things need to be removed to give a free rein to NVIDIA. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So, hey, hot dog, good morning. Thanks for joining. So, the NVIDIA earnings, I think, would immediately give a boost if it comes in as expected. Plus, it gives a positive outlook for the future. And the positive outlook for the future is the place where I have a lot of concerns. We also had a news recently from Microsoft that they are tying up with Anthropic. They're going to invest some $30 billion there, and Anthropic will buy Azure Cloud. Again, the circular investment kind of a situation. And Microsoft stocks are down a little bit in the future this morning. So people in the market are still trying to digest this concept that Michael Burry put out there, that the depreciation of the GPUs, instead of being done over 3 years, is being done over 7 to 10 years, which has a pretty good impact on the profitability of the companies. And as I mentioned, on the other hand, if companies are not able to refresh every 3 years, how can NVIDIA continue innovating and coming up with faster and better chips? So something's got to give somewhere, and we are very close to key resistances. So with that in the mind, let's go and have a look at our S&P 500 futures, and I'll explain what I think is likely to happen. So again, these are all my personal opinion, not financial advice, so please keep that in mind. So we are here in this chart of S&P 500 futures, and you can see we have a head and shoulder pattern which has a target price of 6,236.75. So that's the target price. Now, if NVIDIA comes up with some really good earnings, then we could get a bounce from here. So the first resistance is going to be this diagonal line of resistance out here. Let me mark that out for today as being at around 6,689. So this becomes a red line. Okay, we have to break through this. And then our next resistance today becomes this diagonal line at 6,745.75. And if we break through that, then we have a resistance at 6,812.75. And if we break through this, then we have a resistance at 6,877.50. Okay, so these are all a series of resistances that we have. On the support side, we have immediate support today at around 6,608, and then we have a support at around 6,594.50. Let me mark this green. So these are the two supports that we have. The first one is a parallel channel, and the second one is a horizontal line of support. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have a target here for around 6233.00. NVIDIA is not the entire index, but NVIDIA has got a significant impact on other AI stocks, and then it also has an impact on SMH. All of them together have a weightage of around 30 to 35% on the index to the best of my knowledge. So the index is going to face upward pressure from that 30 to 35%. So there's only so much that it can pull it up. And if you look at the market sentiment, it's absolutely bearish. MACD is very bearish. Momentum is below average, though it is picking up. So that's where we are poised today. So my theory is that the best case scenario, we might get a jump, but there are critical lines of resistance which are going to push us back down. And if you look at the chart out here, we have not yet confirmed under this diagonal line of resistance because we did not close below 6640. In fact, we closed above that. So this line of resistance is not as strong as we would like to think it is. So there is a good possibility that we'll definitely break through this, but we are going to have a tough time breaking through this diagonal line of resistance. That's my forecast. Now let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is where we'll have more impact of NVDA, I think. And our support has seen two bounce off from here. And it's also the neckline of a head and shoulder pattern, in my opinion. I've not seen anybody else identifying this as a head and shoulder pattern, but yesterday we checked it with Perplexity, and Perplexity said, yes, Raj, this is a head and shoulder pattern. So I'm going with that. And if that is the case, then we have a target of 22,716.75 for NASDAQ futures. And we have not breached the neckline, but we have hit the neckline once, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 times. So after the 5th time, I would say that the probability of breaking down is more than 50%. So if we hit this again today, the chances of us breaking down is higher than the chances of us bouncing up. So if NVIDIA does come with a good news, then we would be able to break through this diagonal line of resistance. But this diagonal line of resistance has been confirmed. It has been confirmed because we closed below 24,879.75. So this is going to be difficult to break through. And if we broke through this, then this line of resistance has also been confirmed and it will need to be broken through. And that happens to be at 25,217.25. So those are the resistances that we are looking at. And dollar index is going up a little bit, but I don't know how it's impacting the market because I've not seen any correlation as such. If any of you know of correlation between dollar index and the stock market, please let me know. The VIX is down 2.88%. This is a very good sign for NVIDIA. It's a very good sign for the index because the VIX is not elevated. However, you'll notice that we are already at 23.94. We have crept up. In the past, when we have gone up to 26 or 25 or something like that, just 3 more points above, we have had a sharp drop in the index. We are in the process of coming down further. So this is just a consolidation out here. Doesn't mean that we are reversing track. Gold is managing to go up further, but it's going to get some resistance out here. My holdings of Z Gold are already in profit, so I'm not buying anything right now. But if we come to this support line out here of 2964, I'll definitely nibble on some gold because I think long term I'm bullish on gold. Put call ratio happens to be almost neutral. And let's go on and have a look at AI. Sorry, let's go to the index. Indicators, where are the indicators? Here you go. S&P 500. So today S&P 500 has got a resistance at 6,648. Now this is a line of resistance for us. We came down below this and we have not confirmed this resistance yet. So this resistance is actually support which has been confirmed, but a resistance that has not been confirmed. And we bounced off the neckline out here. This is the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. So for today, I think our resistance is going to be 6,647.58, but it's not a very strong resistance. I would say that our strong resistance is likely to come up from 6,698.30. That's the spot at which I think we'll get good resistance for S&P 500. If we break that, then we are getting into the parallel channel. Now, we have not yet confirmed this resistance, so breaking through is easy out here, but this resistance has been confirmed. It will be tough, and once we break into that, then we have to confirm that back as a support, which means we'll have to have another candle close above that. So this is a series of candles that will have to unwind so that we can get some certainty. But for today, let's go with the fact that this neckline is going to be a support at 6,555.46, and our first resistance is going to be 6,645.51. Our second resistance is going to be 6,698.30 for S&P 500. Look at the market sentiment: bearish, MACD bearish, momentum also below average. Now go to Nasdaq. Nasdaq is down 1.20%, and if you look at the neckline out here, it's well within reach, and it's going to be the first line of support for us at 24,182.67, and then the top of this parallel channel is going to be a support for us at around 25,056.13, and we will also have some support at 25,188.58. If you look at this candle carefully, you would see that we have got support from the middle line of this parallel channel. The middle line of the parallel channel today is at around 24,490.52. So that's going to be the initial support. Now, having said that, let's look at QQQ, which is up 0.29%. Let us look at the trend. Let's go to the 3-minute chart and see how it has been progressing since open. We have always seen institutional dump in the morning, and then the retail investors pick it up, and then in the evening the institutions dump. At least that is my impression. If you have a different impression, please put it down in the comment section. So I'm thinking that the institutions are all thinking we need to dump, and probably that is what is happening out here, and we are seeing the values come down. And let me go back to the daily so that we can do the analysis and get going further. So I think that our first support is going to be the neckline out here, and which is going to be 589.29, from where I have kept a target of around 542.72 for QQQ in case we break down below the neckline. Of course, we'll have a support at 583.24, and if we bounce off from here, we may probably hit the resistance again at the neckline and then come down. That's one possibility. So let us see what happens, because pre-market we are in the middle of yesterday's red candle, and our line of resistance out here on the parallel channel has not yet been confirmed. So we can easily break through this and go up, but our next resistance inside the channel is going to be at 604.71. So that's what I would say. And I would also like to point out before I leave that market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, momentum is below average. Now let's go on to AI. Let's look at the all-important NVIDIA today. Okay, so I have this chart a little expanded. Let me condense this a little bit so that we can see what is happening here. So we have these long wicks on the top, and give me 1 second. Let me silence my cell phone out here. It's going off. Okay, so we have this long wick on the top, which generally indicates that there has been a lot of selling pressure to come down. So I would take that as a little bit of a bearish sign. The other bearish sign is the head and shoulder pattern that we have identified and also confirmed with AI. And we have fallen below this line of support out here of 183.53. We are at 184.17. So this continues to be a support. It was not confirmed as a resistance yesterday. We needed one more candle to close below 181.36 in order for this to be considered as a confirmed as a resistance. That did not happen, so we have bounced back above that already. So for today, our confirmed resistance is going to be at 187.28. If we break out above that, then I think we'll have another resistance somewhere around 193.12. That's the next resistance that we may find. In terms of support, our first support is 179.94 for today, and the second support is going to be 173.78. Let's go to Meta. Meta is Meta is up 0.05% after being down 0.72 yesterday. There is always a little bit of bottom fishing, and also the prospect that NVIDIA may come up with a good news story and there could be a bit of a bounce. So I would attribute it to that. Otherwise, the chart is looking very bearish to me, and I think that the minor gains will definitely be given up as we go further. How low are we going to go? Well, I don't have an idea about that. I will try to do some kind of support lines out here, and if I want to look at support lines, there is a gap up going on out here, so I'll definitely put a support line out here and mark it green. And I would also like to put a support line out here and mark it green. So these are the two supports that I think Meta will get. And one of the reasons why Meta will have this problem is also because of their heavy investments into AI infrastructure and the story that Michael Burry is hawking. That is still something that the investors are considering. So at the earliest, I would say you could expect a bounce somewhere around 570.25, but not before that. And if NVIDIA comes out with a really good story, I think we could get a bounce even before touching this, because we have done another gap fill out here. We have completed another gap fill. So we may probably bounce back up again. So that's a possibility out there. But I think long term, not long term, at least for the next 10 to 15 days, I'm looking at Meta as bearish, unless we see some new signs which are bullish on the chart, any new patterns. Google is up 1.41%. It is just doing a whole lot of consolidation. I think the Michael Burry story doesn't apply to Google. And I think as far as Google is concerned, their fundamentals are pretty strong. And the Berkshire Hathaway investment is a vote of confidence overall. So I think Google might buck the trend. And if I get an opportunity during all this shuffle, I would definitely reinvest in Google. I made lots of profits last time in Google. I'm going to double down into Google again. That's my plan. Amazon is up 0.33%, and it has got a support today at 222.79. And right now it's at 223.32, just above this line of support. And it could potentially get a resistance somewhere around 228.21 today. Market sentiment, which was bullish, is now almost neutral. MACD is bearish. Momentum is below average. This is just the NVIDIA effect that is being seen out here. But I do not see any bullish signals in the chart out here. Apple is down 0.28% despite some good news about high demand for iPhone 17 series and in China, and it's now holding around 25% of Chinese smartphone market, which is a big come down overall. But right now it is still going to get some support at around 266.64. It's at 266.69. So if the overall market goes down, we could potentially see a breach of this diagonal line of support, in which case the next support is going to be 260.24. Market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, just the momentum is above average. We are having the dividend on the 10th, so the dividend has already been realized. So after the realization of the dividend, we can see that the stock price has fallen a little bit. It was a 26-cent dividend, so I don't think the dividend effect is that strong on a stock worth $267. So I think dividend effect would be negligible. Let us see what happens when the market opens. Microsoft is down 0.21%. They have announced a $5 billion investment in AI startup Anthropic, which will buy around $30 billion in Azure cloud services. And this partnership aims to enhance Anthropic's AI assistant Claude. Again, a case of circular investment, but Microsoft benefits more than it has invested. But then Microsoft gets exposed to all the risk that Anthropic has got with the fast depreciation of the GPU. So that's the dynamic that the investors are trying to digest. We have a gap up out here, which needs to be filled up. We have a head and shoulder pattern. We have a double top. No, it's not a double top, is it? Yeah, it's a double top because this is also candle out here. So we have a double top as well. So chart is looking super bearish to me. Market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish, and momentum also dropping. I'll wait to pick up Microsoft at a much better price range. Now, there are a lot of supports available for Microsoft. I would peg one support out here at 486.91. I would peg another support out here because there's a lot of consolidation. It's going to be, the next support is going to be, come on, man. Why? Coordinates. 473.04. That's the next support. And after that, the subsequent support is going to come somewhere around here, which is going to be 462.31. And after that, we have another support which is going to be 438.78, and then we have support at around 423.90. After that, that's going to be a big fall. So friends, there's a whole lot of support for Microsoft. I'm going to watch this carefully and see how it drops down. But right now, I think if you look at the price of 492.66, we can clearly mark 498.18 as a resistance. And we can also mark this minor line of support out here, which happened to be the neckline kind of a thing for the head and shoulder at 494.49, also as a resistance. And this diagonal line of support is going to give support today for Microsoft at around 489.99. That's the first support. Second support is 486.68. Now I'm reading Hot Dog's message that as an Australian, as DXY rises, commodities get more expensive and demand falls. Okay. Got it. Let's go back. Tesla. Now Tesla is something that I'm keeping my eye on. Actually, I feel that like screaming at the market and saying, come on, open your eyes and look at what's happening. Microsoft is suffering so much despite being such a good company with so much of cash reserves and everything. And it's very profitable. It has got a cloud business. It has got AI business. It has got licensing revenues. So many things going in for it. And it's not as highly valued. Let us look at Microsoft and let's look at their PE. Where is the PE? Where is the PE? More info. Where is Microsoft PE? Statistics. PE ratio. Q3 2025. PE ratio. Q3 2025 is 29. And Q4 2025 forward looking is 36.46. Now do the same for Tesla, right? So if you look at Tesla PE, 183.96 for Q3 2025, it's 297.15, right? So that's pretty high considering the state the company is in. Look at the news here. Tesla launched its robotaxi service in Austin, Texas, featuring safety monitors, and initiated a ride-hailing service in the San Francisco Bay Area that operates with drivers. So this genius company is manufacturing its cars and hiring drivers to drive the cars because people won't buy it. They're operating a taxi service out there. And I thought in Texas they had already launched robotaxi service, and there were remote monitors who were monitoring it from a remote viewing station or something like that. So yeah, I'm not feeling that great about this company. I have shorted it. I'm waiting for it to come down, and the double top has been triggered and it came down to a good extent, but our target is 352.80. And today I am seeing that it's going up again, so I'll just extend this further. And I would say that I would like to see us cross over 412.04, which will perform the role of a resistance today. I don't see any reason why Tesla has got to be valued so high, but that's what the market thinks. See, market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, momentum is below average. So who is doing this manipulation out here? How come the price is so high? I don't know. Oracle is down 0.13%. I think Oracle will consolidate along this line of support, which is going to give support today at 220.48. We are at 220.20. I think we are going to be consolidating right now. I don't see Oracle falling much more than this. So I'm hoping some consolidation out here. Market sentiment is bearish, but it has flattened out. MACD is moving towards the signal line. We already saw a dead cat bounce and we are hovering around the 30%. So interest is coming back into the stock. We have earnings on 15th of December. As we move closer to the earnings, I'm expecting that we'll form a base out here and then look forward to what is in the earnings to confirm whether the company is moving positively, cutting expenses and other things, improving its debt equity ratio position, or it is going down further. AMD is up 0.24%. I have got AMD shorts. I'm just selling it just to be careful. Now we have a line of support at 237.21, which was already breached yesterday. Now that becomes a resistance at 237.21, and our support is going to be, I think, somewhere around 222.20 for today. Right now we are at 231.00 in pre-market action. So I think AMD might probably get a sympathetic bounce if NVIDIA comes up with a good earnings. So I have decided to sell off my AMDD, which is in a little bit of a loss, but I'm willing to take that loss and close it out. I'm not planning to risk the NVIDIA juggernaut right now. And I can see some signs out here of head and shoulder, but I'm not confident. So I'll just play it safe. SMCI is up 0.89%. I am selling SMCZ with a profit. I've already placed an order in the pre-market for both SMCZ and AMDD. They might get a sympathetic bounce from NVIDIA. So I'm selling it off right now and staying on the sidelines. We have got a lot of stabilization happening out here, which seems to indicate that there is a support line somewhere out here. Let me mark this green. See, it is giving support to this candle out here. It's giving support to the candle, resistance to these two, and a resistance to one of them. So I think this is a legitimate line of support, and it happens to be at 31.03, and this one is got a resistance out here, and it has done a resistance here and here. Yeah, this also seems like a pretty decent line of support for the chart today. So I would say 33.99 is the next support for SMCI today. Broadcom is up 0.48%. Again, what happens to NVIDIA is likely to help Broadcom get above these two lines of resistances. The first line of resistance is at 343.39, and the second one is going to be at 346.65, and we are at 342.12. Market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish. Momentum is also below average. So if there is an NVIDIA effect, we will try to break through at least one of these. And I would like to point out that this diagonal line of resistance out here has been confirmed, this one. But the other diagonal line of resistance, I'm not sure. Yeah, even that has been confirmed. So both of them are going to be difficult to break through. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Palantir is up 1.33%, but we have a diagonal line of resistance which is going to provide resistance today somewhere around 175.39. I'm going to mark this red. And this is a confirmed line of resistance. SMH is up 0.34% in pre-market trades. Our line of support is at 334.37. We are at 334.42, just above that. But if we break down from here, yesterday we had broken down, but we did not confirm this as a resistance. So it remains a support at this point of time. But if we break down from here and close below 332.71, we'll convert this as a confirmed resistance. And our next support, I suspect, is going to be at 324.73, failing which our gap fill is going to happen at around 308.77 and 313.43. So that is the area in which we might come and probably stop a downward slide. Next, let's look at Tempus AI, which is up 0.34%. A lot of consolidation happening out here. But overall, I do not see anything positive, and we still are chasing a target of 59.13. So probably we could end up with a red candle today, unless NVIDIA manages to pull this up. Let us look at the next one, which is going to be Genomics. Prime happens to be up 1.97%, but pretty strong resistance out here today at 3.76. Right now we are at 3.62, and I would peg the support at around 3.18. And Intelia is up 1.06% in pre-market trades. There is a gap down that needs to be filled up, but I do not see any chart pattern that indicates bullishness. Overall, everything is bearish. And if the overall market goes up in sympathy, Entelia will also go up a little bit because there is a delta factor out there. Then look at Caribou Biosciences, which is down 2.67%, and it has, I think, fallen below the support of 1.84. I'm going to mark this line red. So that's our resistance for today, and the support for today is going to be 1.69. Beam Therapeutics is up 2.10%, and I think the next resistance for Beam Therapeutics is 23.22, and I think it will definitely get a good support at 21.06. Overall, if you see market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish, and momentum just below average. Altimmune has managed to get some good results for pemvidutide, and they released the result which shows rapid MASH resolution, strong tolerability. So that has given it a boost yesterday, and today we are trying to capitalize on that. So I would like to look forward and see that we confirm above this support of 4.40. That is the first order of business, which means that today's candle has to close above 4.65. There's a good chance that it might do that because earnings were good. And then we also have bullish market sentiment reappearing. We have MACD, which has become bullish, and we have got momentum, which is looking a bit overbought, and it has got a little more room on the RSI in my opinion. So a little bit of consolidation out here and confirmation of this support, and then we are in good books. So that's what I say in store for Altimmune. Editas is up 0.76%, a whole lot of consolidation out here. Remember, this is a bear flag, and therefore our bearish pennant, and those have higher probability of breaking down on the downside. Market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish, momentum is below average. Illumina is up 0.02%. It's still trying to break through this resistance out here. It's some kind of a bullish flag with a gap up. So I would like to wait and see until we have a breakout on the above, and which is the most probable possibility out here. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 0.71% in pre-market trades. It's going to get definite support at 53.17, and right now it's at 53.85. It will get resistance at 56.37. Market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, and momentum is below average. Friends, I'm really tempted to buy somewhere around 53.25, but looking at the overall market status and everything, I want to be absolutely sure that we confirm above this support again, because we confirmed below it and made it a confirmed resistance. So now we want to confirm above this and make it a support before I buy in. And then that will be a very short-term buy, because we have a resistance out here at 56.35. So the difference between 53.25 and 56.51 is close to around $3 and change. So I'm going to be very careful with my temptations out there. If it breaks down below 53.09, I'll definitely like to nibble a little bit. Allogene is down 1.53% in pre-market trades, and it has got definite resistance at 1.35. Pre-market it's down 1.53, and I think it will definitely get support at 1.23. Market sentiment is bullish, MACD is bullish, and the earnings were decent, and we also have momentum picking up pretty good, plenty of room on the RSI. So I think there's a little bit of profit taking happening out here, and if I look at this, I can see a potential reverse head and shoulders out here. And if this is a reverse head and shoulder, then I think we have already done the trigger out here. So let me take a line from here, trend line from here, and pull this out. So this would be the trend line, and just to show this properly, so this is shoulder, this is the head, and this is the shoulder. So this is the way I'm looking at it, and if this happens to be true, then ideally there's a high probability that we could aim for a target of 1.50 with Allogene. Again, remember guys, I'm just a retail investor. This is not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion based on my limited knowledge of technical analysis. Grail is up 0.68%. It's got an area of support out here, which is providing good support. So I would say that it will get a support today at 77.74, and it will get a resistance initially at 85.05 and then at 86.13. PSEB is down 0.61%. It will definitely get a lot of support at 1.43. It's at 1.64. And then you look at ARCG, it's up 0.93% in pre-market trades. And we have this horizontal line of support at 26.64, which will give it a lot of support out here. And this diagonal line of resistance at around 26.99 has been breached this morning in pre-market trades. So this is potentially going to become a support. It was not confirmed in the past, in my opinion, because we broke down here, but we then bounced back up again. So I'm thinking that it's going to be easy to break through this. Now the next question will be to keep on forming candles and stay above this diagonal line of support. So I'll leave this as a resistance for right now until the close of the day, and tomorrow we'll see what happens and convert that into a green line of support if we stay above that. Vertex is down 0.29%, but it's kind of forming a bull flag in my opinion. So we'll wait and see what happens. All sentiments are bullish for it. Ginkgo Bioworks is up 1.53%, but overall the sentiment is bearish. So I would see a red candle at the end of the day. And then Precision has lost 0.41% in pre-market trades, but I would attribute that to the formation of the next pattern, which could be a bullish pennant or a bull flag. I'm watching out for that. Overall, everything else is positive for Precision. Eli Lilly is moving from strength to strength. This morning, it's up 0.09%. It's creating a bull flag out here, and I think it's going to break out further up. So that's a very big positive. All indicators are positive. There's a good possibility that we'll have a little more consolidation as the RSI keeps on marching up. And in my opinion, I think the RSI could go at least as high as 91.25. That's where RSI could go. Right now RSI is at 82.65. So there is plenty of room on the RSI for it to continue marching upwards and potentially consolidating on the side. Ultragenyx is another company that I'm very keen about, and Ultragenyx has got no trades pre-market, and this diagonal line of resistance remains to be confirmed. So we'll see what happens when the market opens. Yesterday we did not confirm it. So I'm not changing the color of this line. I'll leave it as it is. We'll check it out tomorrow. Now, with that said, let us go and look at currencies and look at Bitcoin. So when I look at Bitcoin, I can see that the support which was there at 91,746.02, which I drew when I was preparing for the live stream, has already been breached, and we have fallen down below that. So the next support is at 87,362. So I want to condense this map so that you can see this chart, so that you can see this is the support that we are talking about. So that's the next support that we have. If we breach that, then I'll draw more lines of support for us. But this is where we are, and Bitcoin is looking very bearish to me at this point of time. Will I start dollar cost averaging? Not yet. I still have Bitcoin in profitable position with me. I don't want to sell any of these holdings because then the profits get taxed for me, and the tax is also high. So I'm thinking that tax and loss one and the same. I'll hold it for a longer period of time and see what happens. I'm not a trader in Bitcoin. I'm just a holder. Ethereum is also down 1.28% in pre-market. It's got support at 2985. Right now it's at 3081. And of course, XRP is falling. Altcoins, or crap coins as they call, they're all falling. And I don't think XRP is a crap coin because it's being used for clearing and all. It's got good use case. So I'm still bullish on that. But right now, the head and shoulder pattern is coming to fructify itself. When that happens, if it drops, I would like to buy more XRP and dollar cost average down. I'm at 4.25 or something per XRP. So I'm in deep loss. I would like to buy when it comes down. And that 4.25, I'm talking in Canadian dollars, not in US. So in Canadian dollars, it's right now at 2.98. So again, you have the head and shoulder pattern out here. So I'll draw it out. And when it gets triggered, I'll draw the target, and closer to the target, I'll do a dollar cost averaging. That's my plan. So friends, thanks for joining me, and thanks for giving me your feedback on the dollar index as well as what you're thinking. If you have any stock that you think I should look at, or if you have any ideas about what's going to happen today with regard to NVIDIA, I'm all ears for it. I'm happy to hear from you, and maybe I can take some benefit from that. So please let me know if you have any thoughts in your mind, any stocks that you're watching, or any ideas, or if you have a contrary opinion. Otherwise, I think I'm down for the day. I'll go have my breakfast, get back, and get started. See you all, guys. Bye for now.